Hey there guys, welcome to module 7, and in this module I'm going to be talking about setbacks and how we should prepare for them. Setbacks are a very normal and natural part of social anxiety disorder. Unfortunately, it is just the nature of the disorder to have very positive times and then have big setbacks. And I've talked to clients, I've seen people on forums and so on saying, and I know from my own experience as well, I felt like I got it completely sorted, I'd overcome it, I was done, and then all of a sudden you just come crashing right back down and you're like, oh my God, am I still stuck in this thing? I thought I had it all handled. These massive ups and downs, they're just a normal part of the process. As you go on, the ups get bigger, the downs get less deep. You spend more time in positive states than going up and down. You probably have already experienced a lot of ups and downs, and if you're doing these exposures, I want to tell you that you are going to experience setbacks. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a negative message. It's just the nature of the beast, and it's perfectly okay, and you just need to be prepared for that and accept that, okay? So, first of all, that is just a natural part of the process. Secondly, when we are doing exposure therapies and we're putting all this stuff into practice, there will be things, as I say, that we perceive as setbacks or don't go the way that we want them to. And in this case, I think it's really important for you to reframe them, okay? So instead of slipping into previous historical negative mindsets and cognitive biases and ways of thinking like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have tried to go and talk to that waitress. I'm a freak, women don't like me. I'm a loser. Why did I even try? I should just quit this stuff. I should go back and just accept this is a part of me, blah, 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 blah. All those negative old mind patterns and narratives running there. Try and reframe any perceived failures or setbacks and try to see them in a more objective light as data. This is feedback, okay? And I heard a very good quote, which was, you should try and live life as an experiment. Okay, and what this means is obviously not wear a white coat and walk around with test tubes all the time, but instead of getting too identified with the results and too personalized and bound up in them, you just see like, I was anxious in that interaction. Oh, I realized I had had a coffee beforehand and I hadn't eaten a proper breakfast. Therefore, next time I will try to eat a full breakfast and not drink coffee before I go and approach a woman and ask her for a number or walk into the supermarket or do whatever it is. Try and be more objective and dispassionate. Don't personalize the feedback and think that's because of me, that's because I'm an idiot, I can't do this, I'm doomed to live like this forever. Try to analyze what happened in the experience, what happened in the exposure, and also to try and view it without your cognitive biases, especially the negative bias. Try and look at what went well as the stuff that you feel didn't go so well. So, for example, I had a coaching client who previously had been very depressed, wasn't going out, and then he was telling me about an experience he had had where he's grown in confidence. He was gone out with a friend, he was drinking, he'd got called over to his table of girls, and he felt that he was nervous speaking to them, and he was ruminating and focusing on that. And we had to reframe that and look at that in a wider context and say, but dude, you were not even going out before. Now you've got a friend, you're going out with him, you're drinking, you're talking to women. Of course you felt nervous when it was just you being introduced to this girl and a table full of her friends. That's a very anxiety-inducing situation. So be aware of your cognitive biases, especially, the negative bias, where 50 things might have gone well in that exposure therapy, but you're going to focus on the one thing that went wrong. Try not to do that. Try to celebrate your wins, no matter how small or how big. Also focus on the positive. Give yourself recognition for the stuff that's going well. Give yourself recognition for the fact that you're watching this course and that you have the desire to change and that you're actually going out and implementing and even trying this stuff, okay? Give yourself recognition for that right off the bat and try and be kinder to yourself. Don't just focus on the one little fly in the ointment or the one little thing that went wrong and throw the whole thing out the window and throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, I fucked it up, I'm a loser, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So that's basically all I wanted to cover in this very short module. Setbacks are a normal and natural process of this. They are a recognized part of social anxiety. It's what makes it so exhausting at times. And there were many times when I said to my therapist, wow, I can see this thing just receding into the rearview mirror, and I can't believe it was real, because now, I feel so different and I've definitely overcome it. And then, that was like when I was 30 or 32 or whatever. And then there were other setbacks, and it was still longer until I finally overcame it. So that's just part of the process. That's something that we all go through. So don't beat yourself up about that. It's ups and downs, and that's just part of it. Also, after you have an exposure therapy, or you do a comfort zone challenge, if you feel that you've failed, quote unquote failed, there's no such thing as failing as well, right? Conor McGregor says, I win or I learn. You don't win or you lose. But even I would say you learn or you learn, because there can be a tendency when we do something right, we just think, oh, I won, that was great, I don't want to look at that, that's fine. But it's also important to analyze, if something went right and went well, why did it go right? Why did it go well? That's also worth looking at. So it's basically, I learn or I learn, not I win or I lose, or I succeed or I fail. It's just I learn or I learn. Try to live life as an experiment. Don't personalize this stuff. Don't get emotionally bound up in the feedback that you're getting from your exposure therapies and from this action that you're taking. It's just data. It's scientific data. Analyze it, see what worked, see what didn't work, and take action on that accordingly. Also, be aware of your cognitive biases when you're interpreting your results and analyzing what happened. Don't focus on the negative. Be aware of the negative attention bias. Try to look at everything, equally. The stuff that went well, give yourself recognition and a pat on the back for that. And, if one little thing went wrong, see that in the wider context. Don't get hung up on that. Right, that's everything I want to cover in this module. I'll see you guys all in module 8.